So this is your next question. I would again like you to pause the video, try to solve this, and then come back, discuss the solution. Okay, let me draw the figure. So this is a right angle triangle. And this triangle was right angled at C. Call this as B, this is A, this is midpoint at M, and there's a line joining which is meeting it at D. So this much is given to us. So this is a midpoint. Okay, and we have to show that D is also the midpoint. So this line is drawn parallel. Okay, this much is provided. So we start with the proof. In triangle ABC, M is midpoint of AB, MD is parallel to BC. So therefore we get D is midpoint of AC, and the reason is converse of midpoint theorem. So now that we have got this is a midpoint, so that is solving one of our questions, and then we have to show the other part. So that part is pretty easy. Angle ADM is equal to angle BCD. Okay, because these two are parallel, these angles are equal, they are corresponding angles. So they are corresponding angles, and therefore we get angle ADM equal to 90 degree, or we can say that AD is perpendicular to AC. So this is the second part we have proved. Okay, so this was the first part, D is a midpoint of AC, and now we have proved the second part as well. Okay, now to the third part, so which we had to prove that CM and MA are half of AB. Okay, so where is CM? Let me draw that. So this is CM. So we have to show that CM is equal to MA, and that's equal to half of AB. In triangle AMD and triangle MDC. Okay, if you want, I can highlight these two triangles. So I'm talking about this triangle here, and I'm talking about this triangle over here. Okay, so how can we show that these two triangles are congruent? So for the first, we have AD equal to DC, because D is a midpoint. D is midpoint of AC. Then we have MD equal to MD. That's a common side. And the next thing what we have is angle MDA equal to angle MDC. That is, each is 90 degree. So therefore we have triangle MDA congruent to triangle MDC by SAS test. And so we write MA equal to MC, and this will be corresponding sides of congruent triangles to be congruent. For now, I'm just writing in a short, corresponding sides of congruent triangles are congruent. And we also have M is midpoint of AB. Okay, so therefore we have MA as half of AB. So we get CM equal to MA equal to half of AB. So we managed to prove the third as well. Okay, so this was a proof to the question. Now we move to the next question. This is question number 9. Again, pause the video and give it a try, and then you can come back to see the solution. So we are talking about a trapezium and the diagonals of the trapezium. Okay, so here you have, let us name them. So we have A, B, C, and D. And you have E, F as the midpoint. Okay, so what we have to prove in this, the question says that the line joining the midpoint is equal to half the difference of this sides. Okay, so let me write it over here to prove that EF is equal to half of DC minus AB. Okay, so how to go about doing this? So one thing I'm going to do here is draw a line through this. Of course, we will need this as well. So what we have over here is these lines are parallel. So therefore, these angles are equal. Okay, so that much we know. This is equal to this because that will be the vertically opposite angle. And because E is a midpoint of the diagonal BD, you have DE and EB to be equal. Okay, so I'm going to take in triangle AEB and triangle DEP. So in this, we have angle AEB equal to angle DEP. So this is vertically opposite angles. We have angle ABE equal to angle PDE. These are interior alternate angles. And you have EB equal to DE. And what is the reason? E is midpoint of DB. E is midpoint of DB. Okay, so what does that lead you to? It leads you, therefore, triangle ABE is congruent to triangle PDE, and that will be ASA test. Okay, so this gives me AE equal to EP. Corresponding sides of congruent triangles are congruent. You need to write it as a full statement. So that means I've got this equal to this. Fine. Now moving ahead, what can I say? I'm considering this triangle. In triangle APC, in this we have E and F, midpoint of AP and AC. Okay, so one is given and one we have just proved. So therefore we get EF is equal to half of EC. Okay, we get EF equal to half of PC. I can also add one thing over here, that is AB equal to DP. Okay, so again the same thing, corresponding sides of congruent triangles are congruent. So now we have got EF equal to PC. I would like you to have a look at this segment here. Okay, so how can I write PC in a different way? So I can write PC as DC minus DP. That is again going to give us PC as only. But what is DP equal to? DP is equal to AB. So I'm going to, in place of DP, I'm going to write AB. Okay, and if you notice, this is what we had to prove. So the line joining the midpoint of the diagonals of the trapezium is half the difference of the sides. Okay, so half DC minus AB. So we have proved it. Okay, let's move to the last question. Again, you can pause the video and try to prove this. So the question says that AD is a median. So that means B is a midpoint. It also says that BE is a median. So that means here you have this equal to this. That is AD is equal to EC. So let me write it down here. I have AE is equal to EC because E is midpoint, or I can just write that BE is median. It also allows me to write that is EC is half of AC. Okay, so let's call this as 1. Fine. What else is given to us? It is the information is that DF and BE are parallel. Okay, so they are parallel. So now I'm going to look at this triangle. Okay, let me show you. So I'm going to talk about this triangle here. D is midpoint of BC. This is given to us. You have DF parallel to BE. This is also given. So therefore you get F is a midpoint of EC. F is a midpoint of EC. Okay, what is the reason? Converse of midpoint theorem. So therefore you get FC, or I can write CF is equal to EC, equal to FC, and CF is half of EC. But what is EC? EC is half of AC. So that gives you CF is 1/4 of AC. And that is the point that we need to prove. Hence, it is proved. Okay, so I hope you have understood this, all the questions that we have done so far. I would like you to solve more from the textbook. Thank you.